What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Apex, the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back feeling good. Regional finals is in the books, and we've got everybody here. Last week took a little bit of a break. We had some people not feeling too well, also some people on vacation. Just felt like a good time to take a break. Plus, we had the regional final looming up ahead, but now it is in the books, and we have a lot to talk about here. I guess the first thing is, Falcons really didn't show up in Game 6, and it's really disappointing. I expected better from them. Overall, tough day, I would say, for Team Falcons. Just that Game 6 performance, I can't get it out of my mind. It looks like they just didn't even play in that game.
Zero presence, Felt.
I actually think that they all just left the game.
Yeah, terrible look.
It's almost as if they were watch partying. It's like
it actually is the only time I think we would have seen Falcons finish in 20th this split.
Yeah, you're correct. All jokes aside, Falcons is absolutely insane. They finished the regional final in 5 games, but there is a brand new rule where you got to play all 6. So in the 6th game, Falcons decides, hey, you know what? We don't even have to play this.
No, they weren't even allowed to play.
No, they're not allowed to play.
Oh, they're not even allowed to play it?
No, yeah, it happened in Split 1-2 in APAC North, which ended in 4 games. Because they don't want you to grief, or they don't want you to they don't want you to kind of collude with other teams or anything like that.
Yeah,
you have to you have to back out, and the last teams finish. Also, too, they would be stealing points from other teams. So there's a few reasons why they make you back out. And they watch.
I don't know. That'd be kind of metal if they just let them play. That'd be kind of sick. I know why they don't. Now I get it.
You know how many EEC situations where they got their game griefed because Reese and the boys wanted to let the tripods get a better chance.
Mind you, that can't entirely happen now with the POI draft. It's not like they could drop on anyone anymore.
True.
But I mean, if they know that they're in close proximity,
you can ruin
you can figure it out.
If you know where somebody's landing, you can ruin their day regardless of where you're landing.
For sure.
Yeah. No, so it was a fantastic day for the Falcons. They are your champions of NA. I think we could have called that a long time ago. I think a lot of people did call that a long time ago. Who would have thought? They were bullying teams all day long. They came in with a swagger, a confidence that I think in Game 5, the one they ended up winning to take the cake, C9 had a fantastic spot inside zone. It looked like it was going to pull directly to them. They had a building, and Falcons just straight up bullied them off of their seer ult, forced them out. C9 ended up having to rotate out. They took it, and then from there, they just held the reins to the rest of the game and the rest of the day. That's the way they were playing all day long. They were relentless all game, all day. What did you guys see from Falcons?
I mean, when you got Hal dropping 18 kills, Jim Burton dropping 15, Zero dropping 12, and they've done that constantly throughout every single week, like you said, they were just rolling through squads. When I saw that Barrow zone and where I saw that they were holding at the beginning of the game, I'm like, oh, me and my stream, we called it. We're like, yeah, the game's over. I've seen them play that zone several times, even last split with Sykes, and they don't lose it. So yeah, it was kind of said and done once I saw that Game 5.
Say what you want about how stepping down as an IGL to play and have Zero be your IGL. This man's out here. Granted, he's on Fuse, but this man's out here dropping 8K. Yeah. 8K, where his teammates dropping 6-3 and 5-3, when your worst fragging player is dropping 12 with 5,400 on the day, and he's your IGL, that you're looking pretty good as a team. But Hal is really just showing everybody. I mean, when he came on the pod, he said, "I don't care, I want to win." And this man, he went out there and he won. And I think that this team is gonna go out. And I think that they're going to win. I think they're going to win a lot.
Yeah, they finished 1, 2, 3 for kills in NA. Hal with 94 total, Zero with 77, Jen Burton with 73, just one more than Sweet who had a pretty good split. But yeah, 1, 2, 3. I think that Hal with 94 is the most kills any player has ever got. So man drops off IGL to go be a fragger and drops the most kills of any player in NA history. I'd have to fact check that, but that's what I saw on his tweet. And they also broke the NA points record for a split with 149. Yeah, so
it's a pretty good team.
Yeah,
it's a real
good team.
I mean, like, I don't want to drill it in there, and I'm not trying to be an SSG hater. I'm not. They're like, it's actually the only jersey I have of teams now at this point that like are still in like contention. So I actually root for SSG because I'm like, hey, if I'm gonna wear a jersey of any of these teams that can compete at LAN, it's just SSG. But yeah, I still only say there's only one super team because they're so far and above and ahead of everyone else.
Yeah,
one super team.
The fact that there is 94 total kills in the first place and then second place drops all the way down to 77 and 73, and they're all three on the same team, it just really kind of points to how good Hal is at whatever role you want him to be because he just wants it more. Another thing that I thought was funny when Enoch was talking about how badly Hal wants it, he just wants to win. When they gave Duplex the MVP a few weeks ago and he was mad about it, like he was genuinely pissed off. That's like the level. I know he makes the Michael Jordan comparison all the time and people are like, whatever, like that's like a NBA superstar. That's something Michael Jordan would have got pissed at. Like this guy's won a million MVPs. And
where's my MVP?
Yeah,
I did better than him.
Hal's asking for an explanation on Twitter. He's like, give me an explanation why I didn't get MVP. That's why he's in the position that he's in. Like him, hate him, whatever you want to say. That's why he's in the position that he's in. He's literally arguing for an MVP on a random match day.
Yeah,
he's just different in that way.
Something so sort of trivial, pointless, like not to take it away from Duplex or anything for that matter, but I don't really think, I didn't even know they did match day MVP. So like, I was like, what? Like, when did this start? And then all of a sudden I see it and he's mad about it. So yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, that was one where I was just shrugging my shoulders and laughing a little bit. Like, that's just funny. Like that.
I mean,
like,
he wants some more. He wants some more.
He does. We can't just talk about Falcons the whole time here, though. We have a full overview of who we are going to get in NA, the top 12 teams. I figure we might as well run through and give out those teams and give a little bit of conversation on the rest of the roster from NA going to Germany. So Falcons is obviously your number 1. TSM slides in number 2. Furia, number 3. Luminosity, number 4. SSG, Space Station Gaming, number 5. Bleed Esports, number 6. Team Liquid, number 7. Moist at 8. NRG also tied for 8. At 10th, we got Complexity. Then to round out the bottom 2, we have KCP, the Pioneers, formerly known as the Tripods, and Cloud9 reaches into that 12 spot. And something of note here is the drop-off from the top 12 and then the spot right below it, 74 down to 63. This was just one of those splits where the teams that were at the top were going to be at the top the entire time. It was just the teams you expected to be good, minus a couple, were going to be there. And once they got, those points, they were going to hold on to them. Okay, from your guys' point of view, is there any team that you would like to talk about a little bit, maybe some storylines you were looking at, either from just the regional final day or from their split as a whole?
There's a lot that come to the top of my mind. Energy yesterday had a great day. They were one of the so both Falcons and Energy got match point the same game. They were actually in first at one point with 60 points. They won 2 games and they had a very good chance to win a third game. The game that they got match point, which I thought would have been hilarious if they won 3 out of 5 games and then didn't win the regional final. They were also in 12th place. So that bumps them up to, like you said, tie for 8th. The top 12 didn't change, but it is concerning to be in that position. So, that should have been pretty relieving for them to know that going into game 5, game 6, they were number 2.
Safe.
They were safe. Yeah. And, nothing really was going to happen at that point. And honestly, if I was them, Falcons won, I'm pretty happy because I'm like, okay, it's over. We're locked. Right? If this goes 10, 12 games, who knows what happens at that point, right? So, yeah, Energy was one that was pretty standout there. And then, Moist, not just with regional final. They had a good regional final. I think they got 4th yesterday, but then they also won last weekend. So I don't know. They've kind of been on the up and up since Walty joined the pod. So pod buff.
Pod buff. That's 100%
We'll take the pod buff. Certified.
They also had a crazy game 4. Their game 4 was nuts. And if you just go inside and listen to their comms and talk about how nuts that game was for them to come out on top and win that, their day beforehand, before that win, was not very good. They had like a 14th, a 13th, and a 15th leading into that game. They needed something big. And everybody's kind of looking at Moist. They were sitting right there on the edge. They're like, can they get through? They get that win. And that kind of fueled their entire day because it was a ton of points. And then right after that, they followed up with a 14th and a 9th. So they really needed that one game, and they got it, and it gets them in there. And to be honest, I feel like Moist should have been in there the whole time. They had a weird split, lots of changes, lots of moving parts, but they were able to lock it in and move forward. So I'm happy to see that. I'll go with my boys over at Cloud9 real quick. I want to talk about them. I watched them almost the entire day, minus the times that the Jumba curse came in where he decided to watch them at the start of his stream and they did terrible. It seemed like they were doing overall okay. The thing that I keep getting hung up on with C9 is they are getting these placement. They're just not getting any KP. And they did have one game where Naughty was starting to go kind of nuts. They got second place. I think they lose out to NRG. And I believe it was on Storm Point. They just couldn't get the win. I think they killed the third place team, and then the third party came in from NRG. They weren't able to bounce back. But Saucer in the beginning of the day was making incredible calls. Everything was going right. Like according to plan, they were getting the KP, getting the kills, but then it just seemed like once it switched over to World's Edge, they just didn't have as firm of a control as they did on Storm Point. And you saw it again, like nearing the end of the day, they got an 11th and a 6th, which was better. But you know, you look at their World's Edge, they got dead last in game 3, and then on round 4, they got 10th place. But it's kind of lying to you there because their first 2 teammates were dead in the first like 2 minutes of the game, and then who was it?
Chaotic
had a rat to get 10th place. So their World's Edge is a little concerning right now, but I'm still feeling confident with the boys. I've got 9s up to the sky. I'm feeling great. I think they can do a good job. Like we saw last time, they did a lot better when they got to the LAN, and I think they all know they can play a lot better moving forward, and I'm excited to see what they can do. E, was there anybody else you were kind of looking at?
Yeah, well, just real quick, still on the C9 point, what's interesting is, wasn't that a team that was very World's Edge point heavy at one point? I believe when they were like really establishing themselves as a top team, I felt like they got it done by big games on World's Edge. And then it's interesting to see that that's now an area of struggle for them.
Well, a big thing for them was throughout all LAN, they dropped, and like I don't want to take anything away from them, but there's been a lot of people who've said this at this point. During LAN, they dropped Overlook on World's Edge, and there was a lot of like North Pole zones, right? A lot of like survey camps, climatizers, over at there's also Skyhook, and even though that's across the map, right, they're on the north side of the map, they really get those rotations really fast. They were dropping Overlook, funny enough, for regional final, and there was 2 zones that were very good for them. Both zones were almost identical, at least at the very like outset of the game. The zone looked like very, very similar, and it was like absolute straight deja vu. They died in the exact same choke going towards Siphon from Overlook both times. So yeah, just kind of weird play from them. Maybe it was just an off day. I don't know. But a thing that like they played very well, but a thing that definitely did help them a lot at LAN is if you look at it, they had a lot of zones pulled to them. So we'll have to kind of see how they work around that in the future, especially now with the POI draft. That's what I would say about C9.
Yeah, I would say that not necessarily related to this specific weekend, but 2 teams that I think are like noteworthy to talk about that are in this top 12 and will be continuing to land is Pioneers, the Pods. This is I believe like they're the only team from that like we just went from playing in CC to now like going to LAN, and so that's huge ups to them. Like this is a team that like it was really I think this was like an opportunity for Deez and Gent to like show like the caliber of players that like they can play up to, having like an IGL such as Onmu, and now we see how good they can be, and now we get to see Deez at his first LAN, and it's going to be super exciting. I think that this is going to be a team that you're going to have a large amount of eyes on
Well, they'll actually be at EWC first, but it goes to even show that like the EWC qualifier where they like came top 2 to go through like wasn't a fluke, right? They can still hang here, and that they're now got their chance to be a split 2 playoffs, and if they do well, get their chance to champs. So they were a team that, like you said, like didn't even make Pro League in split 1, who have now battled themselves back and are in 2 of 4 lands and have the chance to go to a 3rd. So.
And shows like just the power of like sticking it out and holding together, regardless of like how tough it can get. Like this is a team that like they got grit. And look at them now.
And a bit of a redemption arc for Onmu.
Yeah,
after
100%
last place at his last land.
That was a Wyatt curse. That's my fault. Hand up.
That was you. Yeah,
I called him a dark horse. They got dead last.
Could have been Jumbo curse. 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves was my team. 100 Thieves was my team, so that's probably on me.
It was the combined power of you, like me and of Wyatt, both of you. You just brought it down.
Crazy superstitions.
And now the redemption arc is well on its way. This dude, you guys hold that slingshot crazy, and now I'm just riding it. But then the other team that I wanted to mention was Bleed. I feel like this is a team that like just quietly made their way into like a top 6 finish, which like I didn't feel like they had too many days where like, oh, like they popped off today, but like they were just consistently playing well. And this is a team that brand new, like obviously you have Noct and Drop returning, but you get Shuby, who probably had like the whole E8 situation. The one guy who did absolutely nothing wrong is that man Shuby Tubi. And you just love to see how he goes from being like the guy that like it starts out being like, oh, okay, like Shuby's just getting the short end of the stick too. Shuby's on his way to land on a team.
It is
like really talented. It's only going to get better. And now seeing them sign to Bleed, you love to see it.
Yeah, and it is kind of crazy if you think now like Zap and Shuby are both going back to the lands where Zach unfortunately is finding himself not there. Finishing at 15th, clawed himself back. Like
that's surprising.
Like,
actually,
started those. They have 3 19th places E8, and they managed to find themselves at 15th. But it's technically it'd be 15th overall, 60 points. You know, but like Wyatt even said, there was a big gap between like 12th to even 13th this time, like 11 points. Not something we see too often. Usually, you see teams missing by just like 1 point or 2-3 points, right? But yeah, to be up there,
they had a chance.
Crazy. Oh, for sure.
They had, and the fact that they were able to make it to have a chance with 3 19th places is, I think, like very admirable. Like obviously, it's a season where it just obviously does not go the way anybody intends it to at the beginning, and everything just kind of blows up, and then Zach is able to like piece together a team and be able to make a good run at it. Unfortunately, not able to get the job done, but there's still a lot of Apex left to be played throughout the rest of this Pro League, and it'll be exciting to see how they bounce back from not being able to make this land.
And there's a chance there'll be there's always LCQ, but considering that they made finals, depending on how split 2 playoffs goes, because like there's a lot of new teams that are going to be at split 2 playoffs, right? Like even from like other regions, like Casey, like so Nasky's team didn't make it through to this LAN. You have Reject, who's now Crazy Raccoon. They're not going to be at this LAN, surprisingly, after winning the last one. You got KCP, that's a new team. So there's like E8's not going to be there. Who else is not going to be there that was there last time? DSG won't be there. Oxygen won't. So basically what I'm getting at with all these teams not being there, it opens up more teams to get playoff points. And considering that E8 made it to final already, there's a chance they'll have enough playoff points to go to champ still, right? Because a lot of teams who were there last time aren't going to be able to stack up and steal more playoff points. So we'll see how that goes down in the future.
Another weird thing that happened now that we're talking about E8 and Bleed kind of right back to back. This comes from J Miles. Apex teams E8 and Bleed have announced their joint venture roster for the Esports World Cup. So the players are going to be Zach, Lou, and Noct, with Raven as a coach. So I don't know. Do you have any info on why they're doing it this way?
That was always a thing from when the whole E8 situation went down, when like Zach and Noct were supposed to team together, and then like it all fell apart, and Shuby didn't want to be with Zach anymore, so he ended up going with Noct and dropped. When that all went down, I remember hearing Zach talk about it in one of his streams, explaining that Noct agreed to still play EWC with him. So I guess they stuck through with that. Also, too, Bleed wasn't going to be there, and maybe Zach, after not a great split, didn't feel confident going in with Slayer and why am I blanking out? Who's their third? Lux, yeah.
Luxford.
Maybe he didn't. I don't know. So maybe he thought he's got a chance. He had that deal with Noct. Noct wasn't going to be there, and Noct's not going to turn down the opportunity if Zach asks him. And same with Lou. Lou's not going to be there, and he's not going to turn down that opportunity. So, yeah, I think that they just stuck to it, like what they had planned beforehand.
Kind of a sick roster, dude. Like Lou is Lou is like my player of the split. I mean, it's hard not to put a Falcons player there, but if I didn't, I would definitely pick Lou. Lou was surprising the entire split. He was destroying people with complexity for most of the split. So to have him, Zach, and Noct together with Raven as a coach could be fun to watch. It might be really fun to watch. So yeah, that's just a little insider info. I did want to go back to something Enoch was saying about Pioneers, KCP. People don't remember what it was like to watch Gent back in the day when he was playing with Designful and Resulta on G2. Like, I feel like there's a large group of fans out there who don't know who Gent is. And when he's going to be able to get down there and play at a LAN, I'm super excited to see how he reacts to that. And like, if he can make a name for himself, because he used to be one of my favorite players to watch back in the day when I wasn't really too deep into the lore of ALGS, because I just knew they were all three controllers. I played controller, and I would just love watching Gent just fry. So it's going to be very interesting.
It sings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And the other thing, shout out Donnie, our inside joke with Bleed is if you need somebody to get 5th or 6th place, you call up Bleed. They're going to be there every single time. It just seems like they're always right there in either 5th or 6th. You're like, what the hell is going on? Today in the final, they ended up getting 7th, which is a low bar for them, right? Because usually they're at 5th or 6th. But they're just so consistent, just across the board, always in 5th or 6th. It's insane. It's crazy to watch. So I'm excited to see it.
They really did. They went 7th on their first day, and then, or is that 8th? I think that might be 8th, because they got 8th yesterday. So I'm just looking at the points. So they got 12 points on their first day, which would have been 8th, and then it looks like 5th, 6th, 5th. No, 5th, 6th, 6th, 5th, 5th, and then 8th. It's kind of crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Like that's what Enoch said. Like, they were quiet.
Dude, we never
we didn't talk about
Bleed. We never said Bleed popped off today. Not once.
Yeah.
There was not a single time where we were like, dude, Bleed went crazy. But like, they consistently put up points.
A big turnaround from, dropped, Noct, and Skittles last split, not making LAN to be there again now. Turn around, get that consistency, finish top 6. It's pretty good for them.
These boys saved all their big games for LAN. I mean, it's actually just genius.
That's what I'm saying, dude. This is a dark horse team dream, dude. Like, this is the dark horse team.
You think?
I probably shouldn't say it myself.
Well, I'm saying you got to remember, like, Dropped and Noct were like the team at year 3 champs, right?
See,
like TSM stole it, but they were
not
the team.
thinking through the way that you're processing a dark horse definition versus how Wyatt's a dark horse definition is anybody who is not TSM or DZ.
Well, also, like, there's so many teams in the other regions too that we expect to do really well, right? Like, you talk about like Fnatic, that's another one that's up there. All the guys from APAC, there's legends in APAC South. Like, there's a lot of like real big names, real big teams that people expect to do well. Then you have the teams that get talked about a lot. You get the TSMs, the LGs, the Furias. I just think that Bleed's going to get lost in the shuffle a little bit. And when it comes time to make a prediction, I don't expect to see anybody picking Bleed. That's kind of where I'm looking at it from the dark horse. I'm not trying to say that they're like a team that like can't win it or anything like that. I'm just saying not a whole lot of people are going to be talking about them, but they should be, because this team's consistently placing high. I mean, would you say it was like what, 8th, 5th, 6th, 5th, 5th, 6th? Like, that's a team that should be getting talked about more, but nobody's talking about them unless it's us.
Yeah,
respectfully, I would say I respect the dark horse. I respect it as dark horse pick.
Yeah, for sure. Like public opinion and in their stock definitely fell over the last year, not making the LAN and everything like that. But it's something that we saw the same with Optic last year, where they weren't at Split 1 playoffs. They kind of clawed themselves back to get to the Split 2, and then at Champs, they were the best team there outside, and then like TSM, right? Like kind of did their thing, but they almost won it in 4. Like it was a 1 fight away from winning it in 4. So they're a team that I think could definitely fight their way back once they're on that stage. And if they like, I feel like a dark horse would be like a surprising team to win. I don't know if I'd be that surprised for Bleak. I don't know if I'd be that surprised.
That's
Shuby, like Shuby's nuts, and he played very, very well at his first LAN last split. So,
and now he's with Dropped, and dude, actually just like,
what a come
Shuby's just been catching W's.
Yeah.
Like Shuby's out here just catching W's.
And they were double M&K before, and I'm usually someone that doesn't like try to like stick to the whole, we just saw triple M&K. I saw some things going around about like top 25 kill leaders and how none of them were M&K, and I thought that shit was all bullshit considering in the top 10 we had 4 M&K players and they had like 30 more kills than like half the list. So I'm not buying into that, but still, maybe the double roller gives them a little bit more firepower to win those 3v3s and win that final fight that they needed to in the past. No disrespect to Skittles, that dude's unreal.
Yeah. I think another big storyline that we got to talk about too here is the fact that TSM gets second place. And I know it's not close, but like you look at a team that lost their IGL. They had no IGL for most of this split. They tried to bounce it around between a couple players to figure out who, like, does this work? Does this work? And they never really had anything set. I'm still not even sure if they have anything set, because it just seems like whenever you're listening to the comms, it kind of bounces around. It's like a very big like community effort between all 3 of them. But for this team to get second place with all the storylines surrounding them, they battled back. There was a lot of drama throughout the entire split, and they kept their heads on a swivel, went in there, got second place, and you got to respect it, because that's a team that just lost arguably, I don't think you can argue it, the best player or one of the best players in the league. And
it's like either tied for top second. 1, like Hal and Zero. Like it's like that's the argument. They're on the same team now.
So
I mean, they really just said we still get this shit done, because like I feel like it really was the question of like, okay, how good are Reps and Evan without Hal? And they're just like, listen, we might not be Falcons, but we're better than everybody else.
Well, if you think about it, like in the whole, what's it called? In the whole like super team talk and everything like that, it's like, TSM never came up for that because of the fact that everyone's like, well, now you have no Hal, you're not super team. But at the same time, 2/3 of the team is for went first, second, first last year is still there. So I'm not saying they're like that.
And that boy Zapto, he's a shooter.
Yeah, and 100%. And I'm not saying that they're like, I'm not giving the super team title. I'm keeping that exclusive. Keep that shit exclusive.
No, there's one. No, like, there's one. Yeah, there's one.
But like, they're a good team. There's no denying that. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it seems like Reps gets a lot of, like, anytime you go into any chat that is surrounding TSM, it seems like Reps just gets so much hate all the time randomly, just being like, this guy's not good. It's like, I don't know how you can even still say that now. I don't know how that's happening. He just got second with the IGL, the one that you guys are saying carried his ass through all these tournaments. People who watch the game, they know he's not a bad player. He's a great player, in fact. And he just showed it once again. Dude, to get second place in this split with arguably one of the greatest teams ever formed, like, they just keep doing it. They just keep finding a way to do it. And they did it with like no clear IGL, which I think is even crazier. Like they kind of just they just winged it the whole split. And now they're here,
People scapegoat the support player and scapegoat him even harder if he's on M&K. And like, there was a period of time where everyone said there was rumors going around Reps was leaving, and like never once did like he ever actually, I think, consider leaving the team. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know like what's going behind the scenes, but then they went on to go win champs. But before champs, I'm pretty sure there's a ton of rumors that Reps was leaving the team last year. So yeah, and I mean, it looks like they did really good. Like they got second and third for the last 3 days of Pro League. So maybe they're definitely finding their footing. Remember how we were talking about like, what's their identity? Are they going to show up? Are they not going to show up? No, yeah, like second, third is what they pulled out in the last 3 days. And I think that kind of dynamic that they have with the IGL works. So from what I understand, it is still kind of, it is Zapdo. But yeah, like even my chat was getting kind of confused yesterday because they were, there was some times where Verhulst just completely took over, and it was like, well, is he the IGL now? We don't know.
Yeah.
So,
well, it seems like whenever they get into a team fight, Verhulst kind of starts to take the reins a little bit, and I don't know if that's like an agreement or an arrangement that they have going. That's just what I've been noticing. And he seems to do a good job at calling on how to fight. And once again, we called actually, it might have been me and Donnie. We called the get Verhulst on the Bangalore because the one time that they tried to switch back and put him on Catalyst, where you kind of lock him down into the back line, he just doesn't do as well. I would say, I think a lot of people say your Bangalore should be your MNK player, but he seems to do really well with it on controller. And a player of that caliber, I think you got to let them do what they're going to do best with, and he's been doing really good with it. So yeah, it's been a roller coaster ride for TSM, not just within the game. They've also had the drama outside of it, but through all of it, they've maintained their skill, they've maintained their poise, and they're sitting up here at second place, which I think is really impressive. The team right below them in 3 points, I also want to talk about. That's Furia. Furia was another team that last split, people didn't know what this team was. They weren't sure what to call them. And then they go to LAN. They didn't make finals. They didn't make final. Yeah. So they didn't make finals, which was odd, weird. And people were like, okay, this is what we thought that they were. But I think Furia came in, like I said, before the split had started. They get Vaxlon way later in the season. His Watson just didn't have the passion, didn't want to play competitively anymore. They get Vax. In the offseason, I said, now they're going to have a long time with Vax. It should go a lot better, I think. And that's exactly what happened. This was one of those teams where Furia, you look at them and you say, that's a team that can either get first place or dead last. They're just very inconsistent. And I would argue that this has been a very, very good, consistent season for Furia. I mean, their worst day, they got 9 points, which isn't too bad considering some of the teams around. Look at their points overall, 13, 21, 9, 13, 25, 16, 14. Which, it can go up and down a little bit. There's some range there. It's definitely not bleed, but, I think they've been consistently good, and I'm really happy to see how they've been playing recently. Having Keon on the Pathfinder and the Lifeline throughout this split too. Interesting character picks, but it seems to work for them. Madness throwing out the calls. They've had some crazy plays too. If I had to rank these teams just based on like a team I really just want to lock in and watch based on their comms and how crazy their games can be, Furia is definitely at the top of the list. So, I'm very excited to see what Furia does moving in here with this full split under their belt.
You just like the fucking the Panther.
It's our lion, dude. It's our lion. A mountain lion, dude, so sick. People are trying to tell me it's a panther. I think it's a mountain lion.
Yeah, no, they're solid. You got to be fair to them at LAN that they got Vaxlon in for scrims. Like, they didn't have him in Pro League, really. So, 100%. Like, I agree with a lot of what you're saying.
They're going to be an exciting team to watch at LAN. Definitely a team that you're going to, I think, more than likely has top 5 potential.
So, something I wanted to talk about, if you guys, because I think we covered almost every team. Like, the only couple teams we didn't is, like, Liquid, Complexity. Actually, those are the only 2 teams we really didn't talk about, and I don't have too much about them. But, and actually, maybe we could touch upon DSG first. So what I want to say is, like, just because we didn't talk about them last week, I got excited when I wasn't watching last week. I wasn't around too much, but, like, when I saw that they did good on their first day, I was like, oh my God, are they going to bring it back? Heartbreaking. I just wanted to bring that back because we talked about DSG every single episode.
Listen, we got to talk about him because last week I forgot we didn't have an episode either. I don't know why. I feel like I had a dream that I was on a podcast with the boys and we already talked about this, but we didn't. I feel so confident about DSG moving forward with what is it, Qzier?
Yeah, Qzier.
Bro, I feel so confident with DSG moving forward with Qzier. That kid was good, real good. I liked what they had going. I liked what they had going, dude. I'm feeling confident. EWC, we'll see what happens, dude. I'm feeling confident with DSG.
It could be good. Like, even though they didn't make it through, it's a good thing. Like, getting 4th, and then I think that's like 9th. Yeah, 4th and then 9th. 9th isn't crazy, but they're their 2 best days of the entire split. If they started off like that, had some more time, we very well could have seen them there in the final. But obviously, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. We just talked about them all split. I felt like I had to bring him up. I want to talk about the meta. Fuse. What are you guys thinking?
Bro.
When you guys see this stuff?
I think it's dumb.
It's dumb.
I think it's really stupid, and I think the evac shit has got to go. There's just no way that they think that this is good. There's no way that they think this is like entertaining. I think that Fuse inherently as a character is somebody that we always knew was strong, and that just everybody knew would just be miserable if they ever became meta. And now we're in a Fuse meta, and everybody's seeing it. Like, I think that there are legends who make the game more miserable than others when there's meta. Because, like, I think that Seer, when he's meta, super oppressive and annoying. Fuse, when he's meta, super oppressive and annoying. And I think that there are just better legends that we should have be meta than ones that are super oppressive and annoying. And the evac shit has got to go.
And we're straight up Fuse Seer on top of that. Like as you're saying,
the two legends you mentioned.
Yeah, I know it's not the exact same Seer, but it's so funny to me. Like, because like you would always have one scan character, and then you wouldn't, like, some teams have run to like Bloodhound Seer in the past. I've seen it, but it never really works because you're sacrificing a lot by not having like a controller legend, by not having someone for like defense, for zoning, or for more offense. Whereas like Fuse provides that all right now, because you could get beacons or like ring consoles with him. You could put out a ton of damage with his knuckle clusters, and obviously the nades. Hal was just fucking chucking nades all day. That play you talked about where they pushed C9 out, yeah, C9 had no choice. I think he shot 6 arc stars, 3 nades, and two thermites at them. And then after, like, you have the scan on top of it, where it's like 2 Seer ults basically drop almost. It's, in my opinion, it's a better Seer ult. And it's so funny how many times it confused me during my watch party. I'd be like, they're gonna evac here. I'm like, where are they gonna go? They're not gonna like fly right now. And then I'm like, oh wait, they're just doing the Fuse thing, right? So,
yeah, it's like you're adding on to a legend that was already going to be annoyingly good, like Enoch said, but then you add an exploit to it. That, have they said anything about it? Has there been any?
Said it's not an exploit. It's intentional. It's staying in the game. That's what they said.
There's no way that that's real. They're just saying that.
That's, well, like, it technically, because it's not just about evacs. It's like it happens on any kind of, you know, tall structure that has collision that you can shoot something off of, right? So that's the thing. Like, it's not just because of evacs. So they don't see it as an exploit. They see it as intended, because like you remove it from evacs, people just shoot it off buildings. But I guess like I at least see it as like that's using the terrain, whereas like an evac just gives you like a mobile way to get that whole ring scan, or like see through walls and everything. So I don't think it should be in the game. All they have to do is just disallow it from being shot off evacs, and I can't imagine that being too difficult. But nope, they said it's intended. It's not.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me that legend gets that. That's nuts. That is nuts. Yeah, I do like the other picks though. Like, we've been seeing some of these random picks come out. Like I said, I mentioned the Pathfinder and the Lifeline. Like, seeing those types of legends come out make me feel a lot better. And Seer in this form isn't as bad, you know. Like, it's not like the Seer that before that could cancel like a battery or something like that. And we kind of had the similar scan situation with Bloodhound just last split. So I think there's always going to be some sort of scan around, and as long as Seer isn't completely broken like he was before, I know he's not everybody's favorite, but you know, you're probably going to have some sort of scan legend there. I just think the Fuse is the one that really bothers me, because going back to that C9 situation once again, it's almost like you're being punished for getting to a spot a little bit earlier, just because they can stack up on as many grenades as they want and just basically pepper you off. You're gone. You can't do anything for it. So it's a little unfortunate.
It's lame.
Yeah.
It's like grenades are OP. Grenades are OP. And now, and they gave a grenade character wall hacks.
The thing is, like, the wall hacks was given to Seer way back when like he was bad. Like, no one played him because like he just was lacking, right? But like with time, they've buffed so many different things about the game. And like maybe Seer wasn't even that, or not, maybe Fuse wasn't even that bad back then. I want to say it was more of like a Seer situation where people just like knew he was bad when he first came out, and so never gave him a chance once he got his buffs. Really, I think that's what it was. But yeah, they ended up giving him that scan to kind of like give him some more reason to be played. And but then the thing is now with the perk tree where he can also scan ring consoles and all that stuff, like just makes him so good. Like he's got so much versatility. And then with the evac shit, like there's just no reason not to run him. I will say though, like although we were seeing there was a lot of variety with comps, I feel like it's starting to be narrowed down to a Fuse, Seer, and Bangalore type meta. I think that's what we're going to see unless we ever see that scan go away. But the teams that were performing the best, that's what I was noticing from them yesterday. And that's only because like very recently the Bloodhound nerf has kind of like put people into like this very kind of specific play style, I think. I don't know. We'll see.
Do you think even if they took the scan away that they would stop playing Fuse? Because I feel like the grenade things alone with the Seer is still crazy.
I don't know
oppressive.
if they stop playing him, but like it's not going to be as like
definitely
it
not
wouldn't be
as
as
much,
annoying. Like, it just wouldn't be as annoying. Like that's the thing.
I think we're looking at it once people have realized, like, once people realized how strong Seer was, it took a lot of nerfs to be able to get people to stop playing him. I think that's where we're looking at with a Fuse situation is like people have realized they've become Fuse pilled. And now that they're Fuse pilled, it's going to take a lot of nerfs to be able to like get somebody else to be more valuable than he is. And obviously like the evac tower, like if they get rid of the wall hack part of the alt, and as part of like a balancing thing, because I think that's like the best switch to it, and then it's like the simplest fix. It's just be like, okay, the assault character doesn't need wall hacks, fair, valid, and then but it's like, okay, he's still really strong. Yeah, we'll see.
Because people were still like, even like without the evac shit, people were still putting out big damage with the ult. Like the only thing is like now you won't be able to shoot through it as much, obviously. But, you know, if you have someone in the middle of your ult sitting in a corner, burning, you know, the numbers are going to show where they are, right? And then you just shoot your knuckle clusters, you shoot your grenades. There's still going to be ways to use it, and he's going to be really good. I mean, Fuse has been. Like, that's why Rampart never worked. I think Fuse, honestly, didn't get played because Catalyst was just so good, right? And now the Catalyst isn't played as much. Yeah, you move on to the next.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be an interesting comp moving forward into the Split 2 LAN. I doubt they do anything right now. Although
no, they won't.
They probably won't
if
do
anything
right
happens,
now.
You'll see it happen after Split 2 playoffs.
Okay, so some of the other teams. Let's talk about some of these other teams that were unfortunately did not make it in, but did have do have kind of some questions looming over them. We've talked about DSG a lot. Some of the other ones, we still got E8. We don't know what's going to happen there. We've got Oxygen, which is a really surprising one, down there at 22nd. And then we have Native and I saw another one. I thought it damn. Was it CCE? Yeah, CCE. That was the other one I was looking for. So those are some of the other teams down there below. Any team that stood out to you guys that you thought, maybe they just need one more split, or, they're just going to need a little bit more time before they can kind of get closer to cracking that top 12 level?
Well, I didn't watch a lot about them, but Oxygen's been like a great team for the past like year or so. They bring in what's it called here? Frex, who's never missed a LAN, and now this will be the first LAN that he misses. So I would not have expected that. But like, yeah, I didn't watch him enough to actually say too much. I will say on the flip side, whereas Oblivion, who picked up, who is it? What, am I mistaken? Is it Aiden or was it Reeds? It was Reeds. Okay. Anyways, Reeds. Reeds goes there, plays with Oblivion, and they were just on the cusp of making it in. So it's kind of cool for them, especially because Oblivion was a team that came through PSQ previously, didn't have a great split one, have a better split two with Reeds now, and that's a team that could very well, like when they get some more games underneath them, some more time together, maybe next year in Pro League, or who knows what happens to LCQ, they can crack the code.
One team I wanted to bring up was Temper. I predicted him to win regional final. They did not get close. But here's the thing about Temper, okay? They got 30th place in their first ever split, dead last. I think they only had 15 points overall. something crazy like that. I think
something
they only
like that. Yeah,
it was
really bad.
Oh wait, let me see. No, not 15. Yeah, it was 15. They had 15 points overall. They come into this one and they make it to the regional final. They finished 19th overall. They had 47. So a much better split. I mean, I've always been a little bit privy to them just because they all hopped on the show and I really liked what they had. But this just goes to show that time together as a team can continue to create better and better players and a better and better team environment as we move forward. So some of these teams who just got in, like this split, a team like Fluffy Aimers, they were already at 17th. That's a team that already has some skill there. So maybe they get some more time under their belt, stay together as a team. We could see them maybe crack that top 12. I always like to bring up these teams just because there are some real good players down there who, you know, they're just trying to go the oxygen route, stick together. Let's see if we can make it through.
And speaking of Fluffy Aimers, Presley and Chase are LF1 and Hambino is LFG.
Nice.
Fun
nice on my part.
Funny
so sick. I'm so sick at this. What a day for your boy.
I'm not going to lie. I saw that like earlier today.
Yeah.
Let me check real quick to confirm.
Hand up. That's on me. Hand up. That's on me. Boys, that's on me.
That shit is funny if that's...
No, I think I did.
On that could not
now
be
that
funny.
you say that, I think I did
10
see
hours
that.
ago, LF1 with Chase Mob for upcoming LCQ.
Gosh damn it, dude. I'm retiring after this show. The
only other thing I wanted to bring up that I was thinking about is I just wanted to talk quickly about EMEA. Some EMEA love. FaZe Clan was former Made in Heaven.
Them boys been shooting shit.
Boys have been doing good. They pick up Nogs this split, former teammate of Nasky, and they win regional final. They finished second overall. This is a team that is also that is kind of like living that dream story of like having to make their way to qual into Pro League before this year. They finished fourth at split one. They went into LAN. I think they made it to finals. Then after maybe they just missed finals. My bad. And then after they now finish second, they have Nogs looking like a stronger team. I hear the team dynamic is even better than last split. So they could be looking really good to be going into all these next three LANs coming up. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And then Alliance. They won. Back on top of EMEA. Alliance has been like the stable EMEA team. But did you guys know, I didn't watch EMEA yesterday for regional final, but Hawkes dropped 30 kills in the EMEA regional final. I don't know if you guys saw that. I need to go watch that back because that's fucking insane.
It's all right, I guess.
Yeah, all right, right?
Yeah.
Kind of. He dropped 30 kills, 9 games, I guess, but 30 kills. Effect had 19. Oh, sorry. Unlucky dropped 30. Holy. I heard Hawk. I thought I saw it was Hawkes dropped 30. No, Unlucky dropped 30. Oh my God.
No, that team's good.
Yeah.
That's a good team right there. I know that some people were questioning the Unlucky pick. And
I don't know.
Yeah. He's getting it done.
I wasn't familiar with Unlucky's game before this split, but like as soon as Yuki said he was stepping down, I was talking to Jayhawk at the time. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing like the tweet come up as I was talking to him, and he's like, they got to pick up Unlucky, and he gave me like this whole breakdown of why they had to pick up Unlucky, and I was like, sold. And clearly the guy knew what he was talking about.
No, they get it done. Yeah. Like, I would say that you could make the argument very easily that Unlucky and Effect are the two best controller players in the EU.
Yeah. Is this Nasky's first time not making LAN?
First time, I don't think so. I think he missed it once. He missed it once. I think year 3. I want to say.
Okay. That was
split
surprising.
1 playoffs maybe. I'd have to check. Let me see Nasky. But it is it's like not common in my opinion to not see him there. Like split 1, championship 2, split 2, championship. Oh no, yeah. Since the return to LAN, this is the first time he's missed. Yeah.
Damn. Tough to see.
It was split 1 playoffs. He didn't make finals. That's what it was. He's made finals every time except for that split 1 playoffs last year.
So running through the rest of the regions over here, we have the league champion in EMEA Alliance, like Jumbo just said, and the finals champion was FaZe. The league champion was Fnatic in APAC North. The finals champion was Striders, and then in APAC South, the league champion was Legend, with the final champion being Makers. And that one was close because I stayed up super late. I joined in on B-Rad's watch party. On? Yeah, it was. Oh, dude, I was up to like 3 a.m. on that watch party. But Legends almost lost it, dude. They almost lost the league championship at the end there because they had a bad regional final, but they end up pulling it away. So those are your winners and league champions from all the rest of the regions.
Can we talk about how APAC North either goes 4 games or 13 games for their regional final always? Like,
is that a thing?
So the split 1 was reject 1 in 4 games, and then the last 2 games are played out the same as we had to this time. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And then this split, they went 13 games. And then if I quickly, we'll finish it off right here. I just want to quickly fact check here because I thought it was crazy. But split last year, if we go APAC North and split, what is this? This is split 2. They went 4 games, and then APAC North in split 1 went 13 games. They go 4 games or 13 games only.
There we go. I love that. That's a great stat. That's a stat I'm adding to the back of my head. I'm going to toss that one out there. I'm going to toss that one out there every once in a while. Boys, anything else on ALGS before we round out the show with some heart-to-heart? Anything else we got before we are heading into the Germany land? Nothing? Good?
Oh.
I think we covered just about everything as far as NA goes.
Talked about a lot. Yeah.
There we go. Good. I love it. All right. Well, ladies and gents, we're going to hit a quick ad, and on the other side, we're going to go into the heart-to-heart, send you guys on the rest of your week, and let's get ready for Split 2 land, baby. Let's do it. All right, ladies and gents, it has been a fantastic season as always. It has been great. It has been a good one. We still have the playoffs to see exactly how this all shakes out, how this goes down. We'll do some prediction shows coming up here in the next coming weeks as we're getting ready for it. And then we'll be right into Esports World Cup. Now, this is awesome, man. The fact that, earlier on in the season, we had said, I wish there was one more split. And then we went into, the champs. Having Esports World Cup here feels real good because now we get some more Apex, some more competition, some more stuff to talk about. So I'm real excited to see how Esports World Cup shakes out. But we'll be doing some prediction shows for LAN coming up here in a few weeks. All right, heart-to-heart time. Heart-to-heart time. Does anybody want to go first? No?
You want me to go first? I feel like I go first often. I feel like I go first.
I could hit it.
I think you kill it. I think you do such a good job going first, Jumbo.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I can rip it. I've kept this mostly quiet. I haven't announced it anywhere. Too much other than talking behind the scenes with you guys and everything like that. Wyatt kind of soft launched it last week. I noticed he told Design, but I was invited to go to EWC. And so that would be pretty sick. Next week we'll talk all about EWC. We'll do our predictions and everything like that because it'll be the week before, and then I'll actually be there. So that's actually insane. I don't know. I guess maybe it's gratefulness again is my thing because of the fact that I've talked about several times, the fact that this year so much has gone so fast. I've had so many good things happen, and I remember talking with Jayhawk before even Split 1 playoffs, and we were well, I hadn't even been invited to Split 1 playoffs, and we were trying to figure all this stuff out. And we're if you got invited to EWC, would you go? And we're yeah, that'd be once in a lifetime opportunity. We're but there's probably no chance that we'd get invited. And so I got the invite. I don't have any content obligations. I'm just going there, honestly, to kind of just experience the event. And they're bringing me out, which is absolutely so cool. So yeah, so I guess kind of grateful for this because I don't know, a year ago I was kind of not sure where this was all gonna go. With I'm I didn't know if I could actually ever even make anything out of this, and suddenly now I'm being flown out to events. So that's pretty fucking cool. So yeah, I guess that's my heart to heart.
That's right. We've got the Jump Bags in EWC. That's what I'm excited to see.
John Bax, EWC.
I'm excited to see it. So it's gratefulness. Are you locking in the final answer? Because we got to keep the streak going.
Yeah, we'll go. Okay. Actually, did we break the streak? Not last week, but the week before. I think I threw the word out grateful, but I don't know if we had a round of grateful that week.
All right,
I threw out the word grateful in between mine though. I remember that.
Okay,
but the full sentiment wasn't grateful.
Cool. There we go. So, yeah. I love it. I love it. I'm excited for it. All right, I'll do mine next. Heart chart this week.
We haven't played zombies in a bit, man.
We haven't played zombies a bit.
Zombies updates.
We've been playing Plate Up instead. We've been running kitchens. I'm cook of the century. Lock me back there in the kitchen. I don't need to ever come out of there. Just let me cook up. I'll make some mashed tates. I'll make some salads. We started a restaurant. If people aren't familiar with Plate Up, you basically start with a restaurant and you choose the food you're going to make. You choose the layout of your restaurant, and then you have to you got to have a server. You don't actually have to have these roles. I guess you could fly by the seat of your pants and play it that way. But I'm always in the kitchen. Jumba's out there serving, and then Jayhawk's doing a little bit of expo, kind of helping out with Jumba sometimes, helping out with me sometimes. I didn't even get to choose.
I just got put on being server.
He just got put on being server. And you've been doing great.
They literally told you. Locked me in the dining room. They said, serve these people and wash the fucking floors.
And we've been doing great. We've been doing great ever since we started our restaurant. We called it Fuck Coffee, and it was a coffee shop. And Fuck Coffee, we made it. We made it all of the days, which is not easy to do. I've failed Plate Up so many times. So many restaurants have failed because if you mess up even one time, if one customer's outside too long, or if you forget to get the food at the certain time limit, it's not like you get you lost one life. No, your restaurant just dies. It's over. So we made it. Fuck Coffee. We got in there, we did it, and then we started a new one before the show tonight. Fuck Lettuce. It's our salad shop, so we'll see how that goes. We're feeling real good going into Fuck Lettuce. So that's where we're at. Nothing else, I guess, other than my baby keeps eating dirt, and this plant right here.
Is that?
This plant.
That's actually, I mean, your baby's probably gonna have a fire immune system,
dude. She just won't stop getting into this plant right here. And she just keeps eating dirt, and I'll be sitting here, and then I'll hear and I turn around, and she's just pounding dirt. She's just pounding dirt, dude. It's all over the floor right now, and we gotta get it cleaned up because she's just pounding dirt left and right. So I gotta figure that out. So yeah, fatherhood. There we go. Nice. Your heart to heart this week,
man. Mine's just I'll go with perspective because on Sunday, so I cranked a long stream Saturday night, post sundown into Sunday. Was gonna go spend a nice little family day with a bunch of people in my congregation out at a little beach. It was gonna be nice. On the way, I was okay, and my tire light had been on, and I thought it was just because I had one of the caps off and I had gotten it fixed, and I thought the light wasn't on. I was let me just fill up the tires. One of them just not getting filled up. So I was okay, I don't think I'm making it. I don't think I'm making it to the thing. Looks like I'm going to Pep Boys instead. And so then, found out that I had a nice little nail in the tire. And then my tires were pretty chalked at that point anyway. And so then it was just okay, I got to be the proud new owner of 4 new tires. This is fun. And then so I got to spend a nice little 4-hour time just hanging out with the missus, walking around a less than stellar little strip mall that didn't have the most exciting things, but made the most out of the time, and it was a good time, and I enjoyed it. And then now it feels like I have a brand new car, because I got got it fixed up and new tires, something with the alignment, got it all nice and good, and it's fire. And so I'm definitely thankful that I did that and got that handled and fixed before it got worse. And now I have a much safer vehicle for my family, which is a huge W. And it wasn't exactly how I thought the day was going to go, but it was super productive, super good. And I still had a good day, even though something that typically that, if that had happened to me 2 or 3 years ago, probably not 2 years ago, but if that happened to me 4 or 5 years ago, I probably would have just been oh, this sucks. My life's terrible. This sucks. Can't believe this happened. And I'd be my whole day's ruined. But it was just yeah, it is what it is. And I had a good day, and had a good time regardless of something unfortunate happening, and I'm thankful that I can do that.
You became the pep boy. You were just full of pep. You weren't letting it bring you down. You were just feeling good. I love that.
There we go.
I love to hear it. Okay. Well, ladies and gents, that should just about do it for this week's episode of the Apex, the podcast. We've got plenty of Apex coming throughout the next few weeks. So keep your eyes peeled. I guess keep your ears peeled, unless you're watching on the YouTube, which you should be. Keep your eyes peeled as well. We'll be keeping close tabs on everything going on, and you can lock in here for all the Apex ALGS content we've got going on. I think I'm going to run the same thing we did on Split 1. And I think I'm going to drop a show every night after the event is over, and might not have the same, might not be us three on all the shows, but I'll definitely have Donnie there just in case. Maybe have Jayhawk hop on one. Maybe even Finn, because Finn was there with us last time.
Split 2?
For Split 2, yeah. So because on Split 1, after each one, we dropped a pod right after the event.
Are you going to Germany?
No. But I'm just going to do it here. I'm just going to rip it at home. Yeah, just get.
I won't be there. I'll be here.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. So then we can run it back. Yeah. So I think that's what I want to do, because I had a good time doing that. Kind of getting your thoughts out just right off. We usually wait a week, but I do like to get the thoughts out kind of early. So we'll have that going. We'll see how it goes, and then we'll probably, I don't know what we're going to do for EWC yet, because Jumbo, you're going to be gone, so we're going to have to figure out exactly what we're going to be doing. But it should be still the content from the Apex the pod getting pulled out.
We'll have to find out the time difference, and then just FaceTime.
It's got to be a crazy time difference, dude. It's going to be nuts.
It's like, let's go PST to Saudi time. Let me see. Converting PST to Riyadh. So like, what is it? It's like 8 for you, 9 for you.
9:03.
It's like 7 a.m. for me, man. Just I'll FaceTime you 7 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm out here right now. They're not playing. They don't play for like 5 hours.
Yeah. There we go. We'll get it figured out. But there's going to be some content here at the Apex the Pod, so you guys keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. Thank you guys for tuning in as always, and we'll see you soon. I'm going to say see you again. See ya.